guys, right now we are going to be talking about Cockpit, which is a web interface for monitoring and managing Linux systems. Now, we need to get Cockpit up and running, so to do that we can make use of the command systemctl, and we're going to say enable -- now, so we're going to make sure that it is started persistently whenever systemd initializes. That is what the enable is all about. And we're going to say, if it's not started just yet, start it right now as well. And we're going to do this for the unit file called cockpit.socket. Cockpit is a web application essentially, and it runs on TCP port 9090. So let's go and open up our web browser right now, and we are going to make a connection to servera.lab.example.com. And we're going to do so on TCP port 9090. Now, even though you make use of HTTP as the protocol, it's going to redirect you to HTTPS automatically because we are going to be logging in, and we want to send the data from my web browser to the web server in a secure manner. So what we're going to do right now is that we are going to be accepting that self-signed certificate. So let's go and add the exception. And we are going to be logging in as the student user right now. So let's go and type in student as the password. What's really important is that if you want to do any kind of administration, first of all, you would need the privilege to do so. Ultimately, what this means is that you need to be a member of a group like Wheel, and you need to select this option over here that says, reuse my password for privileged tasks. So let's go and log in right now. And again, what's really important to note is that you have this sort of visualization of the word privilege. So at this stage, guys, I'm just going to show you a couple of things. We're going to create a brand new user account. So instead of making use of the user add command, we can go to the left-hand side here and click on accounts. Let's go and create one for Rick Sanchez. There we go. And the password is going to be REDH@T123. Let's go and do that one more time. REDH@T123. Click on create, and there you go. The user has been created. So the cool thing about Cockpit is that you don't need to know every single command on your Linux systems. It's a menu-driven interface that is provided via the web user interface. So we can click on Rick Sanchez right now. We can go and change the properties associated with this account. I could go and set a password. I could go and force the password to change on the next login. And again, these are some of the things that we never taught you how to do. How to force a password change for a user when they next log in. And Cockpit is a wonderful way to become comfortable with the Linux system and how to do basic administration without knowing too many commands. So now that we have created a user, let's go and do some network management. So we're going to click on networking right now. And early on, I taught you guys how to make use of the nmcli command. Again, here we have an interface to networking. So let's go to the network interface, ENP1S0. Like I told you, if your interface names begin with an EN, it's an Ethernet-based interface. And we can see its IP addresses. We can see other bits of data that may be important. We can see as far as monitoring is concerned, the data that is being sent and received, or how much data is being sent and received. We can see the interface, the MAC address of that interface over here. Of course, the things that are in blue are clickable. And you can see the IP address as well as the TCP IP properties. So what we are going to do right now is go along and click on the IP address. And you can see now we can go and fine-tune the IP configuration. We can go and change the IP configuration with the IP address, subnet mask, gateway, and so forth. What we are going to do right now is pretty much what I'd shown you early on with the network manager command. We're going to add an IP address. So we click the plus sign, type in the IP address, specify the subnet mask, boom, you're done. Let's go and add an additional DNS server. Click the plus sign over here next to DNS. Now we're going to go along and we're going to add 8.8.8.8. So at a few sort of clicks over here, guys, I've just reconfigured networking. I've added an additional IP address, and I also added an additional DNS server. And the job's done. You didn't even need to know how to make use of nmcli from the command line. As far as monitoring your system goes, you can click on logs, and you can see we have some items that we may want to be informed about. So you can see that we are interested in over here errors. And if you want all messages, we can click on everything, and we're going to see all kinds of logging data. Further to that, guys, what we can also do is manage software updates from within. So we just need a package called PackageKit in order to do this. It's not currently installed. And the other cool thing that we can do with Cockpit is that we could get a shell. So you can see that I've got a terminal window into server A that is provided from within the Cockpit interface. Let's go and do some basic service management right now. So I'm clicking on services. You can see the different types of units that I described early on. Targets, services themselves, sockets, timers, and paths. So what we're going to do right now is let's go and restart Crony. So here we have the NTP daemon over here. Let's go and click on that. Want to restart it? Piece of cake. Just click on the restart button from there. Of course, if you needed to enable or disable services, start to stop them, again, you would go to the unit that represents that particular service, and you would go and do your management from there. Let's go to system at the top over here. This showcases one of the other aspects of Cockpit. This is the monitoring of the system. So you can see that I've got 2 cores. You can see the memory utilization over here, as well as disk I/O and network traffic. And what we are going to do right now is simply go and restart this machine. So let's go and click on the restart button. So I'm going to say rebooting for maintenance. And we're going to wait 1 minute before going along with that. So guys, again, if you are new to Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and if you're not too comfortable with doing administration from the command line, have a look at Cockpit, because it's an easy to use interface.